baby, Sid.
Sid, where are you? You were supposed to call me at 4.
Oh, I forgot to reset my watch.
2 days ago.
Whatever. Look, our new joint venture is off and running.
Yeah? They signed?
You bet they signed. They had really nice pens, too. They let me keep one.
All right. Well, food PR waits for no man, so come on back and get to doing whatever it is that you do.
Right on. I just need to catch this flight out of Brussels at 10.
Brussels? Why are you in Brussels, Sid, when the headquarters of the Belgian Chocolate Consortium is in Bruges?
Bruges, Brussels. You know, it's all lace and waffles to me, baby.
Yeah, but Sid, there's nothing in Brussels except for the...
Oh, I really need to catch this flight.
Oh, Sid, tell me you didn't.
Look, you wanted me to close a deal, so I closed the deal. Besides, it's a great little town with really great people. And, oh, they've got such a nightlife here. I mean, you know, places to go, people to see, museums.
Only you, Sid. Only you could fly 8 hours for chocolate, only to come back with Brussels sprouts!
Oh, well, in your hands, they'll be silky, soft, smooth, and succulent.
People hate Brussels sprouts, Sid, the way I hate you.
No, they don't. They're just afraid of the unknown.
You're asking the impossible for me to convince modern Americans that Brussels sprouts are... Hello? Hello? Ladies and gentlemen, behold, the brassicas, a botanical family so tightly knit, genetically speaking, that you'd expect at least one of them to be playing a banjo. Now, the original plant, Brassica oleracea, was a short, loose-leaf variety that grew wild along coastal areas in Europe. Now, as farmers took these plants and began to manipulate them, isolating mutations and then crossbreeding them, the family slowly but surely diversified into what is today a vegetal dynasty some 400 members strong. But they do all fit, roughly, into 5 broad categories, okay? You've got the curly leaves, such as kale and collards, those composed of masses of flowering buds, broccoli and cauliflower, of course. You've got pointy cabbages, like Chinese cabbage, and round cabbages, including white, green, and red, and then we have the crown jewels of the family, the beluga caviar of cabbages, Brussels sprouts, which, chronologically speaking, are relative infants, which, of course, what they look like. They only came onto the scene probably in the first few years of the 18th century. Now, as for the name, these marvels do actually grow around Brussels, but we have scoured our visual records of that fair city and haven't seen a single sprout. In truth, the name, at least, probably came from France, where 19th century botanical nomenclaturists were crazy about adding place names to each and every moniker, whether it was true or not. However, considering who our client is, I'm prepared to stand up and swear Brussels sprouts are definitely from Brussels. Now, as for the sprouts' American experience,
I declare these sprouts to be delicious.
Thomas Jefferson is credited as having introduced the plant to colonial soil and, of course, at his garden in Monticello. But, you know, Thomas Jefferson seems to get the credit for bringing every food imaginable into America. They can't possibly all be true, can they, Jefferson? What we do know is that private gardens remained the realm of the sprout until 1945, when the burgeoning frozen foods industry embraced the fast-to-blanch, easy-to-freeze orbs. I saw that, Jefferson! Oh! The quality of these early rock-hard specimens may have gone a long way in explaining the sprout's nefarious reputation. Of course, frozen food technology has gotten a whole lot better, but I still prefer them in their raw state. Now, Brussels sprouts are available year-round, but they are at their fresh peak fall to early spring, when cold weather concentrates their natural sugars, which is important. Now, when purchasing, look for firm, compact heads with bright dark green leaves, as you would with any cabbage. Avoid soft or pudgy sprouts or anything with yellow leaves. Yellow is a sure sign of age because it means that the more time-sensitive green chlorophyll has given up the ghost, leaving the long-lasting yellow behind. It's like a marker for old sprouts. That's bad. Now, if and when you find good-looking sprouts still on the stalk, you definitely want to buy them. Not only are the stalks, well, really cool looking, they are what they seem, life support units. That's good. In fact, if you trim the ends and park your stalks in clean water in a cool place, your sprouts could remain viable for upwards of a week, during which time you can simply cut off what you need with a sharp paring knife. So it's beautiful and functional, but not very good raw. If you can land only off-stalk sprouts, place them in an open plastic bag so they can breathe, and place that inside your crisper drawer. And if the crisper drawer has not been set for maximum humidity, do so now. And here, you'll get 3 to 4 days max, but only if you do not wash them and you don't peel out the outer leaves. If you do that, well, all bets are off. Hello.
Hey, B, Sid here. How's the Sprout Fest?
Well, we've laid in supplies. Where are you?
Oh, my flight was delayed. I'm trying to pick up a little Belgian.
That's not Belgian, Sid. It's French with a funny accent.
Yeah, whatever. Foreign tongues have always eluded me. Oh, look. I had to cash their first check to cover my expenses, so you'd better get to work.
Expenses? What expenses?
They want something basic, you know, Brussels sprouts 101, a recipe so that everyone can be put at ease with the little green guys.
What expenses?
Oh, darn it. My cell phone's dying. You don't know how hard it is to charge these things in Europe.
Oh. Behold, the Brown family recipe for Brussels sprouts. The Browns, by the way, were English. Ergo, the recipe calls for cooking the sprouts for an hour at a rolling boil. The result, slimy, drab, stinky, inedible balls of doom. To avoid this fate, we simply apply a bit of science. Cooking Brussels sprouts, like cooking any cabbage, is a balancing act. You're hoping to maximize 3 primary characteristics all at the same time: flavor, texture, and aroma. Okay, now, texture is, of course, a matter of doneness, and doneness is all about breaking down cell walls. Now, when you get it just right, they're not hard, they're not mushy, they're just slightly chewy. The problem is that the breaking down of the cell walls releases some, well, unfriendly chemical compounds. You see, sprouts contain sinigrin, which is a type of glucosinate. Now, glucosinates are a class of organic compound which also contains sulfur and nitrogen. Now, as the sprouts cook, the sinigrin begins to degrade into allyl isothiocyanate, or mustard oil, which explains the nasty tasting compounds and the less than appealing aroma, somewhere between rotten eggs and, well, sweaty army socks, I would say. Now, we could dilute these by cooking the sprouts in a large amount of water, but here's the thing. A lot of the nasty-tasting compounds are powerful nutrients, cancer fighters, in fact, and they're mostly water-soluble, so the more water you use, the more you wash away. So, reaching optimum conditions on all of these fronts at one time is pretty much impossible. Sorry, but your best bet is to cook sprouts as quickly as possible in as little water as possible. Begin with 1 pound of rinsed sprouts. If you notice that any of the outer leaves are beginning to wilt or yellow, go ahead and remove those before proceeding. Now, you may have seen some recipes that call for cutting an X into the bottom of the stem, as if that's going to speed up the cooking. I certainly don't believe it. But we do want to speed cooking, so do this. Just trim off the bottom of the stem and then split in half longitudinally. This will also keep them from rolling off the plate when they're done. A lot easier to eat that way. Now, into a 3 to 4 quart saucier, add a mere half cup of water and a 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt. Cover, crank the heat to high, cook for exactly 5 minutes. How about halfway through, give them a little bit of a shake just to move that water around. There. When the lid comes off, there's going to be a lot of steam, so be careful. There, nice sprouts. Serve as a side or toss with a little melted butter and some toasted breadcrumbs, and consume in mass quantities. Ooh, that better be my new and already regretted business partner. Excuse me. Hello? Sid?
What's that music?
Oh, it's elevator music. I'm on my way down to the food court for a taste of the local cuisine. Have you got anything for the clients yet? The clock's a-ticking.
I've worked out some basic moves that I think will silence the critics.
The people of Brussels are not interested in silencing critics, buddy boy. They want something that will give them culinary superiority.
Like what?
Oh, like something the big cabbages can do that the little runtier ones can do better.
Like what?
Oh, I don't know. Like, why don't you go get an incy-wincy shredder and make slaw, huh? Or why don't you puree it? Oh, or better yet, poirot it. You get it? Poirot it! Oh, I'm slave. Oh, there you are.
I just want to officially apologize to all of you Agatha Christie fans out there. All right, slaw. Why not? Seeing as how Brussels sprouts are really just miniature green cabbages, shredding them for slaw might not seem, too revolutionary. But keep in mind, like so many members of the botanical world, smaller brassicas are stronger brassicas. So I propose that we tame the sprout's bitter bite with just a wee little kiss of heat. But before we cook, we must fabricate. Now, I like knives. Knives are very, very nice. But unless you're a real samurai, mowing through a pound of rinsed and trimmed sprouts could take, well, a long time. Besides, most food processors these days come armed with a slicing blade like this, which, if you're like me, you almost never use. Today's the day. Now, even pressure on the feed tube is the key here. Okay, now that our sprouts have been properly processed, fetcheth forth 3 ounces of coarsely chopped pecans and move them over to a 10-inch straight-sided saute pan over medium-high heat. Now keep these moving for several minutes until they just begin to darken in color and give off a nice toasty aroma. 2 minutes ought to do the job. All right, once the pecans are perfectly toasted, we will add 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter and melt. Now bring the sprouts to the party, along with salt and pepper to taste. I go about a 1/4 teaspoon on both. Now keep stirring as these cook. I find that tongs are better for turning over these sprouts, better than a spoon. Now we're shooting for the moment that they are perfectly done. They'll be bright green with just a little bit of brown around the edges, and that's good because brown means sweetness. All right, our sprouts have been on the heat for nearly 6 minutes. Yeah, the greens are still bright, but little pieces are starting to brown around the edges. That means caramelization. That means we are done. So kill the heat and add the final ingredient, 4 ounces of coarsely chopped dried cranberries, which provide tartness as well as sweetness, a nice contrast to the toasty goodness of the nuts and, how can I say this, the bright vegetal funk of the sprouts. Now that I think about it, this is less a slaw than a hash. Sid, I don't usually give serving suggestions, but in this case, roast turkey. That's all I'm going to say. Roast turkey.
We need to think of something better than that, and fast. I'm here on standby, and I'm trying to fit this into the big picture, and I really don't think that these Brusselites would go for it. We need a showstopper, kid. We need a magazine cover. We need something these guys can take to the European Food Union convention in a couple of weeks. Oh, I gotta run. I think my flight's being called.
Sid. Oh, bother. Well, sounds like we need to turn up the old flavor knob to 11. Now, our slaw played to sprouts' sharper attributes, but one of these sulfur compounds that forms when sprouts cook is a dimethyl sulfide, a prime flavorant in wine, quince, and truffles. A lot of earthiness there. We just need to round off the harsh edges a little bit. And Thank you, Thing. But when you want to take the edges off of flavors, you don't reach for abrasives. You reach for fat. Sorry, I know it's not a popular word, but the truth is, fats can round off sprouts' sharp, edgy qualities while stretching the earthy tones. Besides, with all the fabulous vitamins A, C, K, and B1 included in each and every sprout, you can afford a little fat. Say, bacon. 6 slices should do the trick. Snip your 6 rashers into wee pieces and brown in a 10-inch saute pan over medium-high heat. Now, while that cooks, make sure that you have one basic Brussels sprout recipe batch standing by. Now, 5 minutes or so, drain the bacon into a strainer set over a heat-proof bowl. Now, there is a lot of flavor in these drippings, so 1 tablespoon of that goes back into the pan over low heat. Next up, 1 small onion, julienne. Now, how might one produce such a cut? Come with me. First, find yourself an onion. The mirror, by the way, is completely optional. Peel it, cut it in half, and I usually leave a little bit of the root end intact when I peel. Makes it easier, but that's going to need to come off. So with a Santoku or a chef's knife, remove thusly. Then make orbital slices, moving in an arc longitudinally. Then fold over the next piece and repeat. There. You'll end up with a nice little julienne. Okay, when the onion is nice and softened, add about a teaspoon of salt along with 1 Granny Smith apple. Cored and chopped, peel left intact. Cook another minute. Okay, time to bring the sprouts back to the party, along with half a cup of heavy cream, a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. Isn't he cute? Cook until the sprouts are just heated through. Then, quickly finish with the bacon, 1 ounce of crumbled blue cheese, and a pinch of nutmeg. I always keep one of these in my pocket just in case.
Oh, AB. This dish is going to get you a statue on the Einstraat, right next to mannequin peas.
Really? Hey, isn't that the statue of the little boy who's...
Yes. But sometimes they hook him up to a beer keg. They also like to dress him in little costumes. Strange folk. Still
what?
Well, the sprouts are the carrier, but the flavor, it's all bacon and blue cheese. Am I right?
Well, no.
Yes, of course I am. You see, blue cheese is French. Belgians hate the French.
Like I hate you.
We need a dish that shouts, I am Brussels sprout, hear me roar! Not, I am Brussels sprout, sorry I stink. Aha! Well, I'm seriously jet lagged. I'm going to catch a few of these in your guest room. Oh. And this bag is full of the good stuff from the homeland. Sprouts, yes.
Hey, I thought you couldn't bring raw agriculture into the country.
You can if you're a diplomatic attaché. Nighty-night.
Okay, big, bold sprout flavors. Fine, supporting cast. Since they share a lot of the same chemistry, we'll add some mustard seed. Nope, too subtle. Dry mustard. And over here, we need an aromatic that can play nice with the sprout's natural funk factor. Something that can stand up to the sprout, maybe sweetens while it cooks. Garlic will be good. Salt for sure. We'll see about pepper later. Now, we need a cooking method. We should probably avoid water, which can wash away flavors while creating new ones we don't necessarily want. All right, so instead of water, we'll go with oil, olive oil. And as for a heat source, hey, wait a minute. You know, I've never fired the grill for a cabbage before, but it kind of makes sense, especially if you don't care for the aroma of brassicas in the kitchen. So I'm going to go with medium heat here. After all, we're not exactly searing a T-bone. And while this warms up, I think we should warm up the sprouts as well. Prep 1 pound of sprouts, trimming the stem ends and removing only yellow outer leaves. Now, if you've got really big honkin' Brussels sprouts, you'll have to cut them in half, but these are pretty small, so I'm going to leave them whole. Just make sure they're as uniform as possible. Place in a large microwave-safe mixing bowl and zap on high for 3 minutes. Now let these cool for a few minutes before continuing. As As for the paste, we will whisk together 1 teaspoon of dry mustard powder, and I think maybe some paprika would be nice. A teaspoon, smoked if you've got it. A tablespoon of minced garlic, there that goes. 2 tablespoons of olive oil will be about enough. And of course, salt and pepper, 1 teaspoon of the first and a 1/4 teaspoon of the second. Once that is together, grab your favorite metal skewers, thread 5 orbs on each one, leaving at least an inch of space. Dab on the goodness and bring those to a medium hot grill. You're going to let those cook for about 5 minutes and then turn a 1/4 turn, repeat and turn, repeat and turn until they're golden brown and delicious all the way around. Grind on plenty of black pepper and serve hot right on the skewer. I'm telling you, you can't get more sprouty than this. It's like, well, the taste of Brussels without the jet lag.
Oh, that's a fantastic tagline, buddy boy. I'm telling you, AB, this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Or perhaps just the ending of another good eats.